So freaking hey, like I was telling Kelly, I got the okay. I got the okay to gamble now, or not gamble, invest.
Oh, that's what you called it?
Yeah. What is investing, huh?
No, it is. It is. So I think we should probably provide somewhat of a, an understanding for the audience here, what we're talking about.
Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised that DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stat cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of Don's lies as Arjun act like he's surprised.
So, recently, probably, when would you say? Maybe over the past 4 or 5 days.
I think so. Just a weekend. I think
just a weekend. Yeah, we started just talking about the idea from a more general perspective of using our NBA knowledge for good, and by good I mean for profit. For profit. That's what I mean by good. And we were initially thinking, you know what, there's all these major sites like FanDuel and DraftKings that we can get into. And that was initially the plan. But then I was noticing time and time again on my YouTube suggested videos, these NBA TopShot videos of like professional athletes. I think Josh Hart was gifting something to Kendrick Perkins, and it was like a dunk from Zion Williams. And that intrigued me. At the time, I didn't know what TopShot was about. I didn't know what Don and I would be getting ourselves into. But that piqued my interest.
Big headaches and disappointment.
Yes. And, I floated this over to Don, and we kind of discussed it at a high level. And we thought, you know what, why not? This seems like a fun thing. There's indications that the creators of NBA TopShot, they'll also dabble into UFC later on. And that, of course, was something that Don was interested in.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking for those broken bone moments.
There you go. And so, we thought, might as well, let's give it a shot. And I think on Monday, or maybe it was Sunday, I forget exactly, we officially opened up accounts. We were lucky to get in. It was in the right window.
Sure.
And that was a whole nother challenge too, right? Like trying to find the opportunity to even participate.
Oh, yeah. we found that little side gap, that little opening that wasn't, available, I guess, publicly. Unless you look through the right cracks. And the A was able to identify the cracks as he normally does with all things in life. And squeezed us right in. He squeezed us. The slippery D wasn't slippery enough. Sometimes you need to brute force your way in. And Arjun's really good at that. So we got in, and I'm kind of wishing that you didn't now. I'm hooked, man. I'm hooked. This platform is ridiculous. It's addicting, man. It's bad.
It is. And for those that don't know, this is essentially kind of like trading cards, except instead of physical cards, which you're trading eventually or purchasing at this moment, are moments. And moments are these very, very brief, probably 20-second long highlight clips of different things going on in the NBA. It could be a great shot. It could be a block, a steal, assist, handles, whatever it could be. And you're spending real money, first of all, and I mean real money, to get this kind of currency, virtual currency, which is called Dapper. And using Dapper then...
Is it called Dapper? I thought Dapper was like a platform, and then it's almost like a bank account or a cryptocurrency bank account that you convert your real money into crypto money, those being equal to the same US dollar that you had deposited, and then you just use that account in TopShot. Is Dapper a currency?
Yeah, my understanding was Dapper is the currency that TopShot uses, but it's backed by a real cryptocurrency called Flow or some not Flow, but I think it might be like Ethereum.
Oh yeah, ETH. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I think that's how it works because like when you go to your and we're kind of jumping ahead here, but when you go to your the website for NBA Top Shot, at the very top, I think there's an option to say Dapper Balance,
Yep.
and then when you go there, right, you get to see like how much money we stupidly put in to this shit, and
Well,
I
mine's
guess
gone now.
well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. But yeah, so anyways, you essentially have to, buy in, right,
Yeah.
with
Well,
whatever
and
format.
it's a
Yeah.
relatively easy process. I think we were both a little hesitant at first, to say the least. But in putting the initial 200 in, it was quite easy, frighteningly easy.
Mm.
How easy they took the money and applied that. What is it? That 5% processing fee or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah,
Which
wasn't too fond of that, to be perfectly
I'm not
honest.
either. I'm not either. But I can understand why. I think Dapper needs, or that is their source of revenue from the consumer in order to hold and manage the funds. And I assume I assume there's going to be another transaction fee when you withdraw. So
Oh yeah, it's actually there's three fees involved from what I read. So we already hit the first one, the 5% when you actually
mhm,
buy money for your Dapper account,
excellent.
and, and then whenever and we haven't done this yet, or maybe you have, I'm not sure. Whenever you sell a
Mhm,
particular moment,
yeah,
Dapper gets a cut. I think it's 5% again.
yeah. And the nice thing is, you're able to at least see it. They don't try to hide it in the fine print.
Mm,
I think that's something that's wise. They're not hiding additional costs to operate in this new space that we're exploring. So I can at least appreciate that. I don't like that they're taking additional money, but if it gives us the opportunity to flex our profiteering muscles, then I could share a little bit for the platform that enables us to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of akin to, when you gamble at the tables, a lot of casinos have like a rake. Let's
Sure,
say you're playing Texas Hold'em and there's like a 5% rake for every pot that the house
sure.
gets because the house has the dealer and setting up everything, giving you drinks and all that.
Mhm.
So I look at it that way and I can accept that. That's fine. And a lot of the problems that are going on in Dapper right now revolve around the withdrawal process. I think a
Sure.
lot of people are complaining that it's not easy to get money out and it's very, very slow. Like it may take weeks or even months for some people. I don't know how they could get months when they just started, but it just it's not something that concerns me at least at the moment because I am less concerned about getting money out when I haven't made anything yet. It's more,
Ah,
you know.
ah,
But later on, I think if for example, one of our good friends, our good buddy, friend of the show, Leroy, he's also part of the
quite sour.
and he's also part of the NBA Top Shot community, and he mentioned a story that one of his friends actually made $500 off of a Zion Williamson moment. And for that kind of a person who's already made money and may want to bank some and play with house money, I can understand why withdrawing will be the top priority. Like,
Sure.
yeah, packs are nice, but okay, I made money now. Let me go ahead and withdraw.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. Maybe
No,
Don,
and
you
we're.
are, but
I'm a little bit up. I'm a little bit up, and I think let's digress a little bit and
mm,
talk about just what it is. I think we've covered the financial piece of it, and even though they are taking money, I think you and I can both agree it's not an enormous or an exorbitant amount of money that is too worrisome as long as you go in with a level head and you're not just trying to burn money. I think if you go into this platform with the idea of making money, it may work for you, but I think this platform, as we briefly talked about over the weekend, is more about competing with your friends or at least comparing what you could collect similar to what you would collect when we were growing up with cards or trading cards or even Pokemon and Game Boys and stuff like that. And kind of sizing up what you were able to do versus your friends and other colleagues, and in this particular case, against the world. And you do that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, by collecting these things called moments. And moments are, just as you have it, moments in the NBA. They're sort of like snippets of games, highlights, if you will, of particular actions that particular players have done, and it's recorded in history. And this is a way of providing a sense of ownership over these particular moments and attributing a certain dollar value to it based off of the, I guess, the collective um, sizing up of the moment. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think you, for the large part, you repeated what I said about 10 minutes ago. But yeah,
Did you really?
I think you covered it very nicely. I could have said it better myself, but we'll leave it there.
I'll review it later.
I think the simple question that I think non-believers or non-dapplers, whatever you want to call them, will have is this: well, what's the difference between me just watching the highlight on YouTube and paying for something that I don't really own? What's the difference? So how would you respond to that?
There's a sense of ownership here. You build a collection based off of whatever cards come your way through purchasing packs, which are released in a non-scheduled time for the time being, given that it's in beta phase still, where you purchase or you blindly purchase a pack or a collection of cards that you reveal after purchasing that turn into these moments, and they are strictly yours. There are particular serial numbers that are attached to the cards, ranging from 1 to about, I believe, 35K is the maximum right now for some of these cards. And in some cases, some of these cards will continue to grow in number, meaning these moments will continue to repeat in future offerings of cards and moments. Or there are some that are limited, where if it's been printed and labeled limited, that you have now a certain percentage of all that will ever exist of that particular moment. And I think those cases are where it really comes true that there's a sense of ownership that occurs. It's not publicly available unless they want to you make it publicly available for purchase. Everybody can look at it, and that's fantastic, but it is a part of your collection. So I think that's what really sets apart, watching it on YouTube over again versus having it within the TopShot, I guess, collection.
Yeah, I mean, objectively speaking, the collection aspect of it isn't very appealing at the moment. I think there's really not a whole lot you can do with it. You have to go to an individual collector's page and kind of sort through what they have. There's, I mean, it's early, right? I mean, obviously, in the beta phase, they're still trying out the fundamentals of it. I think eventually, what interested me, eventually you can use some of these moments in some kind of a competition. Like there'll be I don't know how they'll do it, but there'll be some kind of a 1v1 type of game where, let's say in this case, your hosts, SoCal DNA, the D and the A, we can go tit for tat. It could be Dame Lillard versus Montrezl Harrell or something. And we all know who's going to win that one.
Montrezl Harrell.
Well, we'll see what the value is later. But, I think there's potential there for something. But as of now, it's really what you make of it, right?
I think
because
so.
of this. Oh,
to expand on that potential, I mean, there is that competitive portion that will occur. But I'm thinking, long-term wise, there may be a way of, having some sort of digital photo album that you have in your household or you put in your office that will only display your account's moments. So it almost serves as a trophy at the same time as well as bragging rights to particular things, where it introduces others to the platform and the NBA and your passion for it. So rather than just having a desktop background of the Lakers schedule, as I do at work, I'll be able to showcase LeBron shooting a 3-pointer and turning around, looking at his team before he even sinks the shot and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess the closest parallel that I can think of, and we've talked about this, is in NBA 2K, which is a video game that's very popular. Don, of course, is a advocate of it. He's been
Mm-hmm.
playing it a little bit, probably not as much now.
Well,
Probably all
when I
NBA
got time,
TopShot
I
now.
dabble. I dabble.
Dapperel, whatever the word is. I was trying to say dapperel, but it's not even a real word. I think in MyTEAM mode, essentially you have a very similar concept where you're buying these booster packs, and here in MyTEAM, they're actual cards. They're virtual cards that represent a player. But the benefit is you can actually use that player and all the stats associated with that player in the game. So there's an added level of competition there because if I have, let's say, a diamond level LeBron rated 95 overall, which is a pretty good rating out of 100, let's say, and he has all these crazy stats, I can use him against other people in head-to-head competition. So that's fun. That's really cool. And of course, you can show off your collection as well if you want to. And I remember, back when I played NBA 2K very, very consistently, I think it was NBA 2K17. That was my last one. I was heavy into MyTEAM, man. Like I would, play the game, of course, to get the virtual currency, which naturally happened every time you complete games. And then you could eventually buy booster packs or even booster boxes, which is like 20 packs in one box with a topper, which guarantees you like a rare card or some shit. And I'd be all into that. And it was addictive. I just remember like I would think, oh, I have all this VC now, I have all this MyTEAM credit. I shouldn't blow it yet. I should wait for like a really worthwhile box. But then it's so tempting. It's like, oh, but what if I get LeBron? Or what if I get, Kobe from 2013 or 2008 or whatever? And I would always do it. And I would like save up, save up, save up. And then after a certain point, I would just be like, fuck it. Let's just spend it all.
Blow
and
it.
I would
Just blow it all.
Yeah, I would blow it all. And only like once or twice did I actually hit. And I get some really good cards that I could flip later for profit. Most of the time, it was just crap. Booster after booster, pack after pack of just crap. And you can't even have much resale value from there. And then before you know it, after like 20 minutes of fun, you're just completely spent. You're broke. You have nothing left. And so that's where the gambling, addiction side really kicks in, right? So when I shift my focus now to TopShot, I see the parallels. I definitely see the idea that okay, you have, let's say, a modest balance to begin with, and you got to be wise how you spend it. You could, blow it all on a couple of good cards in the marketplace.
Sure.
And the marketplace is basically like, a place where cards can be put up for auction in a way.
Buy it now, strictly.
Yeah, that's the right way to put it. So it's not a pure auction where people can bid, at least not yet. I don't know if they'll eventually do that. In MyTEAM for NBA 2K, it's always a buy it now price, and then of course an auction price. And once you start bidding, the buy it now goes away eventually. But here, yes, it's just, and the way they set it up, whenever you look for a moment, whether it's let's say Jackson Hayes dunk or Damian Lillard 3 or whatever it could be,
both very stellar, should go up in price about 100-fold.
Yes, I hope so. To the moon, as they say. To the moon, as the kids like to say on the Wall Street Bets subreddit, which is a completely different thing, but I'm sure there's some connections there. It's just one of those things where, like, I just hope that all the money that we're putting in, to these cards actually means something. And I hope it's not a situation where a few weeks' time, the cards that we bought now are pretty much worthless because all these star players are going to be making more highlights.
Yeah.
You can damn well expect Lillard to hit more threes. You can expect Jackson Hayes to hit more dunks and blocks. What makes you think that these highlights early on will still hold value later? I don't understand how that's going to work.
To me, what makes what currently is on the market valuable is that we are still in the beta phase. We are still now in the early series of it all. So what's typically being released right now are what's considered their first moments, meaning it's their first time being featured on the platform, or at least their first handful of times. And there's a certain level of value that you could attribute to that, similar or kind of similar to the timing aspect of the professional careers. Particular cards are being super inflated right now, given that they are rookies or they're just beginning their NBA careers and creating highlights already. And some rookies, or rather, most rookies, will not reach superstar status. I think that's fair to say. Maybe a handful of them will. Betting on those gives you enormous value in the long run. But in the short run, for collectors, just having a rookie card is alone. You don't think so? Like, you don't think LaMelo Balls, which is, I think you could agree, the most inflated rookie moment collection on the marketplace right now. You don't think that's going to increase in value over time?
I disagree with the premise that highlights in the season 1 or season 2, whatever it's called, will hold value. Because I think it's very different than, let's say real trading cards.
Yeah, I would say, like, if we compare it to Pokemon, right? Because Pokemon cards, what is it? The first edition Charizard that was released still holds value.
Yeah, but see, then by that logic, then Don, a first edition LaMelo whatever will forever be worth more than any other LaMelo card that's released in the future.
And it may. I think we're dealing with the different. It's hard to make that connection because there are so many moments that can be made. There's
exactly
an infinite amount of moments, to be honest.
Exactly.
Right?
So really, it's dictated more by NBA TopShot how they want to define. Oh, okay, X number of moments happen for this particular series. We're going to release them.
Sure. And I think what they're doing to control it, and why I kind of stand by Series 1 and Series 2 still holding strong value, is that they have the designation of CC, which are I don't know the right term, but I call them common cards, which will continue to be printed. Right? They'll continue to be printed indefinitely. Mm-hmm. And they have these limited edition cards. So the first, I would say, 100,000 cards? Well, millions of cards now at this point, if you add them all up. Some of them they never will be printed again. So they hold a nostalgic value to those that are really invested into TopShot. And we will never see some of the cards that have a particular vanity to them that increases value. Like if you get a rare LaMelo 3 on his first game as a rookie, where there's only about maybe 2,000 of them, or 2021, I think that's what they're doing for the rookies. There's only 2,021 copies of that particular card for the rest of the life of NBA TopShot. That will hold value because though LaMelo may become a superstar and have triple doubles and win game winners possibly in the finals, which will definitely have value. I'm not going to say that the rookie card will exceed the value of these really pristine moments we hope to happen one day for at least one ball brother. There's a certain level of respect that is given to rookie cards of those that are very, very successful.
Yeah, and I don't fully understand it. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It's about longevity here, but I think there's something else going on about rookie cards getting a special treatment. I haven't read into this completely, but there's something known as badges.
Yeah, the badges.
Yeah, so I don't know what the badges do. I don't know. I'm not clear on that.
I don't think anybody knows. I know there's 3 badges that are being released. One is for a rookie season, right? So if the card, or rather the moment, excuse me calling these cards. I want to call them like boxes instead because they look like boxes. But if a moment is representative or reflective of a particular player's rookie season, that gets 1 badge, the rookie badge. The second is if it's their first game. So there's a couple of them, like RJ Barrett, where he has a moment where I believe he has a dunk or a layup that looks pretty sick that he did on his first game as a New York Knick. So that would get another badge, first game badge. Then the third badge, which I think is the most highly coveted one of the 3, is the minted badge. which stands for, or rather represents, that the card was minted or created during the rookie's actual rookie year. Meaning, if a Vince Carter rookie card were to come out today, it would not receive the minted badge. However, if a LaMelo Ball card were to be released today, it would receive the minted badge.
Okay, so I see now. So these badges are exclusively for rookies.
For now that we know of.
For now, there's probably going to be more. You're right. There's probably going to be different badges later on. But the way I look at it, this plays into what you were saying earlier about longevity. I think NBA TopShot views this platform as something for generations. It's probably even in their 8-second pitch, right? It's something that we will be looking at year after year. And if it goes how they see it, then I can see some of these earlier cards holding some values, and maybe as a way to kind of, say, hey, you were an early investor, I guess, if you will,
early
of NBA
adopter.
TopShot.
Yeah.
Early adopter. There you go. Then you get some extra credit. Like, the cards that you have now will be worth more. But then this begs an interesting question. They set up tiers, though, right? There's like different rarities of cards.
Yes.
And I think you mentioned common already, the CC. You mentioned limited edition, which can also be part of the base series, I think.
Yes, and I believe those designate the number of cards. Now, if we want to talk strictly about what TopShot's value attribution to the cards are, there's different tiers, those being common cards. Second being, I believe, rare. Then there's a legendary, and there's one that I'm missing somewhere in between there. And in these particular cases, the number of cards get decreased as you increase in rarity. And there is just almost like a similar to like Pokemon cards. Like you get a holographic background that denotes, hey, this one's a little bit special. It's truly, they apply almost like a falsified rarity to it, even though it may be of the same moment, because there are particular moments out there that have all designations. They're both common, rare, and legendary, but they decrease in the number that have been produced. And how that works, I don't know.
Let's pause right there, though. What do you think of that decision by TopShot?
I think it's a way of building depth to a particular moment. I think that it was the easiest way to apply a nuanced value to something that is essentially the same thing.
And so this bothers me because it is the same thing. Like ultimately, you pretty much have the same highlight, but this one is just rare because of the number associated with it.
Yeah, and I think it's not not all legendary cards can also come out as common or rare. Some of them are stagnant, where I think like there's a Vince Carter one where his last shot only follows like the rare bucket. It's super rare. It's like his last shot. It's of such high importance to the creators, and I think from I think a global understanding, it deserves that sort of stamp of approval. Like it is a once in a lifetime sort of event. It's not just your everyday layup. It's not your everyday block or everyday assist. Like that one shot kind of sealed the deal for his fantastic career. And that's where I think this tiering system really comes into play. Why they do that for multiple, or why they do that for a singular card sometimes, I don't know. But again, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. It is still very early in the game. So hopefully they could, somehow fix that, so it doesn't seem like it's purely a inflation scheme.
Yeah, I like the idea of having just like one version of a card, for a specific tier, and I can respect that. Like if it's Vince Carter's last shot and it's only in rare, perfect, that's fine. I just find it kind of weird. It's like the value that I have of a first edition, let's say common variety, that's also limited edition of a Harden 3, pales in comparison to the same card if it's say epic or
Sure. Yeah, it's
whatever it's called.
common, rare, legendary, and then ultimate.
Ultimate. So like if I know like there's another copy out there that's also first edition, but
Sure.
it's just a higher tier, then my card seems worthless, even though right
Well-
now in the market it may seem valuable.
Yeah,
Like
and
in the long run.
Well, and I think, I mean, are you under the assumption that they're going to print more of them in higher tiers, thus diminishing the value of a lower tier held card or moment?
Well, two things. My feeling is whenever they have these multiple copies of any card, I think by virtue of that, the rarer the tier, the more valuable it is. That's number one.
Agreed.
Number two, in general, I think this will keep going. I think you'll have more and more of these tiered moments. And I just find it difficult to believe that first edition common ranking cards today will hold more value than rare, legendary, and ultimate or whatever it is in years to come. Because
No, and I agree with you there, and I think that's where the power of the market will just take over. There's a certain sort of, not centralized, I'm blanking on the word, but where things soften up over time and they reach their true value. I think that the market will not tank the earlier editions of cards, because I truly believe that at least 70% of the accounts are actual human accounts, not bot accounts, and they're gonna hold on to it. I think only true basketball lovers or true gamblers in EFTs are in the market right now, and I don't think any of them or any of us would call today's dollar cheaper than tomorrow's.
Unless there's like a massive recession, right?
Well, yeah, but that's more of a global thing that we can't control, right? What I think is,
I hear you. Yeah.
For the case that there may be multiple tiers, common, rare, legendary, ultimate, for the same moment, I think it also, to defend TopShot a bit, I just thought about it. It gives those of us that don't have the capital or the bank to purchase a legendary moment.
It's a good point.
For $10 or less than that, because most of the common cards seem to be hovering around the $5, $6, $7 mark. So I think it's a good introduction, and it doesn't just give you the the bench players one highlight of the year. You get a James Harden one, for example, that's relatively affordable compared to the other higher tiered moments.
And one thing that I want to touch on now, and this may begin the complaining part of this.
I was in a good mood, man.
I know. You were explaining things very eloquently, and I appreciate that. But so one thing that I mentioned to Don earlier was I have a feeling that whenever there's a pack release, I think you'll see the cards that were released prior to that pack depreciate in value in the market.
Yeah.
And the logic being, people want to buy the latest and greatest cards all the time. That's always how it's been in MyTEAM, and I think it'll be the same here. And so by virtue of that, you could want to get some of the money back that you spent on the previous cards, and so you sell them at a lower price. You keep undercutting, and that reduces the market for all of these Series 1, Series 2 cards, at least temporarily. And so I bring that up because I was looking at a card, I think the other day. It was a Chris Paul assist. Okay. Last night, I think it was at 48. Now it's at 40. And I was looking at another card because, unlike Don, I like to represent that I'm a Laker fan by buying into the Lakers.
Which, by the way, I'm super sad about, because your card has appreciated, and my damn Jared Allen is still hovering at where it was. So I'm a little hurt.
Well,
I think
Laker pride, Laker pride. So another guy on the Lakers who's actually the second cheapest after Montrezl Harrell was Dennis Schroeder. And guess what? Yesterday he was at 31. Today he's at 23. And that kind of sucks.
I think there's that natural curve that happens where, there's an expansion of the market, so there's an increase in supply, first off, without any change in demand, which will naturally decrease the price of what's out there. And I think that
Well, it's not just that though. It's a decrease in demand as well for the existing market. You
Yes,
see what I mean?
which makes sense because, well, what I mean, my counter isn't really a counter, but that's why there's coveted moments where they're timeless. Some of these common cards they're just everyday kind of occurrences. They look a little bit nicer than the everyday passes that you'd see or everyday dunks, right?
Mhm.
There's a little bit of scrutiny there in developing these moments. So respect the Top Shot on basically filtering all the games and finding the correct snippets to create in the platform. So I think the coveted moments, like the crazy dunks, the crazy steals, the last second game winners, will hold value over time. And these lesser moments, unfortunately, will tend to drop in value. But I think that's a perfect segue into another thing that Top Shot offers, which are what are they called? Challenges.
Ah, yes.
Where there's a certain number of challenges right now, and I laugh because the prices are super inflated for some of these challenge cards. But the challenge is to collect a certain theme of moments. And the one that I could think of that we briefly shared with each other during the day is the rookie challenge, which focuses around LaMelo Ball. And it encompasses collecting pretty much the other rookies and their moments in 2021. Some of these rookies I did not know about, to be completely honest. And, I didn't even know they were capable of highlights, to be doubly honest.
It's a bit of a burn there, but
hey,
all right.
Well, hey, can you name them all? Here, let me name them all. Let's do a little active challenge.
Who he played for?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that. It's the Rising Stars Challenge.
Sure.
All right. So we're gonna start off a little bit easy.
Okay.
Who does James Wiseman play for?
He plays for the Golden State Warriors.
Ah, good. Another easy one. Dort.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
All right. We're gonna get a little bit difficult here. Okay. We're gonna skip some of these, but they all deserve their respect. Who does Keldon Johnson play for?
San Antonio Spurs.
Perfect. And now, what about another easy one? Brandon Clark.
Brandon Clark, is he a rookie?
Brandon Clark. He is a rookie, or at least a youngin. They're rising stars. They're rising stars. So it's rookie or sophomore.
Okay.
Come on.
Brandon Clark. Last time I knew, he played for the Grizzlies.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
All right, you got that one. Look at that. All right, now we're getting a little bit more difficult here. All right, who does Mikal Mulder play for? Go ahead, give me your best guess.
Man, I feel like Charles Barkley now.
Here we go.
With all eyes on me.
Yeah. You know what? An extra points if you know his position.
I want to say he's a big man.
Okay, well, 50-50 chance there, right?
I'll commit to that. I'll commit to the big man. And for the team, he's not fantasy relevant, so I don't give a damn. But let's say Minnesota.
No. He plays for the Golden State Warriors, and he's actually a point guard.
0 for 2 there.
Right, and last one. One more.
Yeah.
All right, what about our boy, Facundo Campazzo?
Oh, Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. Once you see him play once, you're like, oh, okay. But,
Oh, no, but let's backtrack, though. So
sure.
What was my percentage? How many did I get wrong?
I'd say like pretty much all of them. You forgot one important person. That's basically all of it. You lose the whole challenge if you don't have it all.
So Don is not being very nice here. I did phenomenally well. I should pat myself on the back.
You should. But
I think,
to go back to my point.
Yeah, go back. Yes.
It's like one of those. Some of these names, you kind of, you scratch your head saying, "Really, there's a moment for these people." Right? Especially the Mikal Mulder, or the questionable Brandon Clark, the ones that have no fantasy relevance in some cases. You're kind of like, really? I need to collect these? And I think that's what Top Shot is doing. They're giving these lesser known players some sense of spotlight by including them in a challenge and inflating their value over time.
Well, it's not over time though. It's only
Or
temporarily. Because
temporarily, but
here's the thing. No,
okay.
let me interject here though.
Sure.
Here's another parallel between my team in 2K and this. In my team, they also had challenges,
Yep.
and you had to get like X number of cards from a certain team
Yeah.
or whatever it was. And for that period of time when the challenge was active, all of those shitty cards would escalate in price,
Sure.
and people would be bidding on them and bidding on
Mhm,
them, and you'd have to spend like an arm and a leg just to get a common version of something. And then, as soon as the challenge is over, you know what happens? Market gets saturated. All of those cards are dumped back out,
Sure.
and they lose all value. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But one thing that I do agree with you on is it actually pays then, to some respects, to buy some of these cheaper cards now
Mhm,
and hope that one of them will be a lottery ticket to the moon. So I can appreciate that. I
mhm.
think that's not a bad way to go about things.
Yeah, and I think it's another breath of fresh air where you're not purely collecting the cards for XYZ. You're collecting them through A through Z. And I think over time we'll see different avenues by which you could collect these moments to create something of it so that their value retains its value, or it retains its value rather than diminishing over time after you've used it for a specific purpose. Especially if they develop some sort of gaming platform where you utilize these moments. I mean, can you imagine, like, oh, you got to play a 10-minute game and basically your roster is all these players, but they can only do that one action that is on the moment? Like, you're going to need hundreds of cards to play 5 minutes, right? It's
Just
like,
give me that Zion dunk. I'll just do that all day.
just straight up, no dribbles, just done right away.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot remains to be seen because we're in the beta phase, and I'll say this much. Obviously, part of the fun when it comes to trading cards, and I guess Top Shot as well, is when you finally get your hands on a brand new, fresh booster pack. And sometimes, it's easier said than done. And we found that out today twice. We found that in two experiences. And we should probably preface this by saying so Top Shot has two different things going on. They have something known as like an official release, which is usually on the order of like maybe, for the lower tier rarities, could be 25,000 packs, could be 30,000. And for that one, you get more time, you get more notice that, oh, okay, hey, it's going to be a drop in like an hour, it could be 8 hours from now, and you'll know for sure. Other times, they do something more spontaneously with very minimal notice called a stress test. And these stress tests are very limited in the number of packs that are given out. In today's stress test, 5,000 packs were given out, like maybe around, what was it, like,
4 o'clock.
was it 4 o'clock? Yeah, 4 o'clock or so. And, the way they decided to do it, and I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on this for the queue, because as you know, with all things that are precious, they have to set up a queue. It is not first come, first serve, it is randomized. My first impression was, okay, I actually appreciate this. I appreciate this because this combats the bots. Bots are usually the ones that pick up all the shoes or all the good gear, whatever it is, in the first few seconds of a drop. If you eliminate that and you make it randomized, truly randomized, then I could like slide on in with a minute left before the pack drops, or 10 minutes before when it first starts the countdown, and I have an equal chance because it's random. So I can appreciate that. It probably gives me a better chance, to be honest, than if it was first come, first serve. But I wanted to get your take, Don, and you can talk about the experience from today. How did you like the system that they set up for the queue?
Well, I'm a little biased and jaded right now, so I fucking hated it. First off, as a
Oh,
first-hand experience, but that's you know it's unfortunate that they have a limited number of packs for the number of people that want to purchase the packs. I could respect and I actually kind of agree with the process that they're going with, because if they were just to release it to everybody and anybody, it would drastically decrease the value of the packs and the moments in the marketplace. So this is their way of kind of setting a control on the floodgates and not letting the fire hydrant loose. So it offers the platform a certain level of survivorship by not drowning the market and diluting everything that's already existing. Now, when it comes to the notion of kind of having a queue set up, and then once the timer is up or once the release is initiated, a randomization occurs, I thought that was pretty nice. It was pretty snazzy of them to develop that, because not everybody has perfect internet not everybody has the opportunity to look at their phone during a particular time and hit refresh just to get in queue. So giving buyers the opportunity to almost enter a lobby by which they get randomized from, and give them a good amount, I would say fair enough amount of time to join, I think it's a fair way of going about it. Again, I'm still jaded, but I'm trying to be nice about TopShot right now.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
And I think that randomization is going to definitely hurt the majority, because I think was at least for today there were almost 150K buyers for 25K packs or 30K packs in total. And you obviously have to have good fortune to be selected to have the opportunity even to purchase the pack. And I think that's given what we've read, it's the proper way of randomizing this chaos that is NBA TopShot.
Yeah, I like the random system. I just wish that the time that you could spend in the lobby was less.
Sure.
Sure. And not only that, I think just thinking ahead, because our good buddy, friend of the show, Leroy, he told me that he participated in a total, counting today, 5 pack drops.
Oh, I'm sorry, Leroy. That sucks, dude. I hope we don't get there.
Well, that could be our future. But going 0 for 5 really hurts, man. Like, I just gotta say, it's not fun.
I mean, the first time you have your heart broken, it obviously hurts the most. I'm sure we will be less sensitized to the whole thing once we've had our hearts stomped on a couple times.
No, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this is something that we'll have to get used to.
Right? And I think it makes it more of a game. It's unfortunate, right? But if something's always being spoon-fed to you or just constantly available, there's no mysticism behind it, for lack of a better word. There's no magic. There's no, like, once you land it, you get the opportunity to open these or blindly open these cards. It brings back that nostalgic feeling of surprise and, almost like a sense of, it's my time. I earned it. I've waited so long. It's finally my turn. I think it adds value, maybe not tangible value, but those intangible feelings that well up inside of us, like all this hate that we have for not being able to get either of those pack drops, it's going to flow forward and change into a little more appreciation, I think, of actually receiving it. Not of TopShot. All right, fuck you guys for now. But, once I get that card, it's all love from there.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I think for me, like, since I've been, running all these parallels to MyTEAM, I've experienced this so much that to me, like, I knew that I wasn't going to get a pack. I was really hoping that you or Leroy would, genuinely, truly. But for me, I just knew, it's not going to happen. And so when I saw, out of like 150,000, there's only 25,000 packs. The number I get hit with is like 87,000.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and I got hit with like 98, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just,
it's and you kind of hold out a little bit of hope. Oh, maybe the 80,000 people in front of me will just look bad, and just their dapper balance will be just compromised for some reason, like Putin coming through.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I've just figured out, okay, if NBA Top Shot is something that I want to do for the long game, and this is advice that I'm partaking, to you as well, that I'm bestowing upon you as well. The best thing you can do is after a pack drop, after the marketplace opens up, keep in mind beforehand a couple of cards that you have your eye on, and then see how far they fall after the marketplace opens up.
Yes. Yeah, and I think,
yeah.
I mean, if you guys haven't already noticed, we're planning on talking about Top Shot a little more frequently. I think it'd be it's safe to say that it's probably going to be a more frequent subject, similar to how we talk about the NBA and music and things, and Cowboy Bebop, which we'll get to next time. So I'm hoping we could offer at least not advice, but at least our experiences with the whole thing. And I agree with your knowledge that you're dropping bombs where the prices are going down, man. Like, the thing is, Dame has held constant.
Yeah, I like that. I noticed that too. So yeah. I commend you. I applaud you for that choice. Yeah,
Dame is my saving. He's the fucking Dame time, dude. He's my fourth quarter guy. I need him to come through.
And I'm tapping my wrist right now, my friend, for a different reason. But yes, yes, go ahead.
No, and I think the prices seem to go down. It'll be interesting to see the ebb and flow of how these pack releases influence the market. And thus far, as amateurs that we are right now, at least in the immediate time frame of it all, I expect these cards to continue decreasing in value until maybe another challenge refreshes their value.
Ooh, wow.
All right. Or something that picks them back up.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, who knows? This is a giant game in and of itself, and it's gambling at the end of the day, I think. But, as another piece of experience, it seems that the superstars will hold value. From all the cards in the marketplace that I was scoping today, I had the opportunity to pick one to join my squad, and I chose none other than Damian Lillard, just because that moment was actually a good moment, and it was against the Lakers. So, as much as I don't like that it happened, it's a baller move, and I was trying to do a baller move myself and pick him up. So the superstars tend to hold value, and from all the graphical representations of asking price, I've seen them steadily rise regardless of when pack drops were initiated. So, but the the entrance fee to getting these superstars is quite steep. 10 times the value in most cases of your common cards. But if the return is there, I think that's something that I'll probably be doing moving forward.
Yeah, we don't want to give out too many of our secrets, too many of our strategies already.
To all 10 of our listeners.
All 2 of our strategies to all 10 of our listeners, you feel me? But, I think I agree with a lot of what Don said, and I think we're both excited. I mean, don't get us wrong. We're complaining a bit. I'm criticizing a lot of Top Shot, but
and we're complaining because it's we want this to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to hopefully, the Top Shot will lend its ears for a snippet here or there of what we have talked about. And I don't think we've really truly complained to the point where we would drop the whole thing, right? They haven't blindly taken our money away from us or swept us under the rug on anything. I think all the information is out there. It's just that it's new, it's exciting, but that comes with a bunch of unknowns that the A and I are trying to navigate through. And it's quite moldering to do.
Yes, it is quite moldering, just like the fellow from Golden State.
There we go.
Clearly is a point guard. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our first podcast episode where we talk extensively about Top Shot. I don't think in future episodes we'll get this deep into it for this long, or we might, depending on what happens. If we suddenly get lucky with a pack, that may be something we share with our audience. That might be interesting. So until next time, my friends, take care and use your money wisely, please.
No. So just burn it all, like me. Just burn it all. Dame time, can't go wrong. Ball in the hands. Just keep depositing. He'll return you dividends.